Hi, welcome into yoga. I'm Kate. Today we're going to work on opening up our hips and going into split poses. So let's just start in a seated position here. Close our eyes. Let our palms rest in a comfortable position. Roll the shoulders back and down. Take a deep inhale to exhale. Settle down here in the earth. Start to lengthen your breath here. So inhaling longer than 2 to 3 seconds and exhaling out longer than 4 to 5 seconds. So bring awareness to your purpose for today. We are here to just find some poses to help with our splits and to open up our hips. So let's get some movement started. Let's start in a tabletop position here. Shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. And let's inhale, drop the belly, drop the chest, open up the heart, sink into the shoulder joints, find your cow pose. Let's take a couple breaths here. So as you inhale, maybe open up your heart a little bit more. Exhale, sink into the shoulders. One more inhale. Exhale, round the tailbone down, the rest of the spine follows. Tuck your chin, round the shoulders. Inhale, lift the spine nice and tall. Exhale, maybe tuck your chin a little bit more. Next, inhale, come back to cow. Now find your own pace here. You can stay here, finding 1 to 2 breaths in that pose or switching it up every inhale to exhale. Testing out how your spine, how the rest of your body feels in these two movements. Beautiful. Go ahead and find tabletop position. Let's widen our stance here. Curl the toes under. Sweep the hips back. Find your downward facing dog. Gaze is to the middle of your mat. And let's just pedal it out here. Find some movement. Keep elongating that breath here. Beautiful. Go ahead and find stillness. Let's inhale, lift the heels nice and high. Lift the tailbone. And let's find that same roundness like in cat pose. Round all the way to your plank. And then exhale, shoot the hips to your heels. Shoot back up to downward facing dog. Drive the heels down. And start over. Inhale, lift the heels high. Round the spine. Exhale. Push the glutes to the heels. Lift back to down dog. Press the heels down. Good, let's do that 2 to 3 more times. Once you've found that last one, let's find downward facing dog and walk our feet to the top of our mat. Find our first forward fold. Maybe shake out the wrist, find a ragdoll half circle here. Find stillness. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen out that spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Find that first mountain pose. Palms face the front of your mat. Heel toe the feet together here. Find our first balancing pose. And then let's shift our weight to one foot here. We're going to inhale, hug the knee into our chest, either with or without your hands. Hug it in nice and close. And then exhale, drop it down. Go ahead, inhale, hug that knee in close to your chest. Exhale, drop it down, back to the first side. Inhale, hug it in. Keep that inhale going. Let's open up the hip now. And then exhale, close it back in. Drop the foot down. Inhale that second side up. Keep the inhale going. Open up your hip. Good. Bring it back to center. Drop it down. Last time, hands either find heart center here or your hips. Inhale that knee high. Open up the hip. It's okay if you open that hip, the knee drops a little, just depending on that hip flexibility. And then bring your foot to your standing leg, find your tree pose. Readjust with your hands if needed. Inhale to lift off of the earth. Hands can stay here or they can reach to the sky, finding our branches high. Maybe you close your eyes. Last inhale, reach a little higher, either with the hands or the crown of your head. Exhale to gently release. Bring that weight to that other side here. Inhale, hug the knee in. Open up that hip. Bring that leg above or below the knee. Readjust if needed. Then I want you to lift that shin bone off of the ankle bone here. And then lift the thigh bone off of the knee. Lift the rib cage off of the hips. Maybe close your eyes here or lift your branches. Last inhale, lift nice and tall. Exhale to release down. Beautiful. Let's make our way to the earth. So let's find our first chair pose here. Sweep the arms forward, sit the hips back, chair pose. And then exhale to forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back to plank. Let's find our first vinyasa flow. Find that chaturanga to the earth. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. And then let's sweep up that left heel. Find a three-legged dog. And then I want you to open up that hip, bend the knee, lift the knee nice and high, drive the heel back. And then find some knee circles here if that feels nice. Good, go ahead and find stillness. On that next exhale, I want you to bring that left knee to your left tricep, the back of your arm. Good, inhale, find that open dog again. Exhale, knee to tricep, nice and high. One more time here. Bringing the knee back and forth. Let's find that three-legged dog one more time. Close the hip and then send the left foot to the front of your mat. Drop the back knee and rise to low lunge. We'll be here for a moment, so you can find a foam pad or a blanket if you have it there. Let's inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. Hands find heart center. Let's find activation here in that right thigh. So rotate the hips forward. Maybe crawl the toes a little forward too if you're not quite feeling it. And then inhale, shift forward, find that first half split here. And then exhale, come back to standing. Good, just move through this motion here. Just back and forth. Maybe close your eyes here, let your muscles do the movement for you rather than your eyesight if you are in front of a mirror. Good, last time, let's land in that farthest split position. Let's inhale, reach our hands up high, bring the palms together, thumbs drop to the spine, inhale to open the heart. One more inhale, really press the rib cage high. Exhale, toss your hands forward, lengthen that front leg. Lengthen the spine here and fold over the leg. Or you can stay in a half lift with those blocks right underneath your hands. I want you gently squaring the hips and pressing them down. And finding that back half split. Find a little rest here from the movement. And then to kind of adjust this stretch here along your hamstring, I want you to just gently rotate the toes down to the mat and over to the side. Kind of like a little wave here with your foot. Just do it 1 to 3 times here and then find stillness. If you need a little more help with your left or right hand, pull that foot to your shin. Good. Exhale to release. Let's bring our hands to the right side of our mat. You can bring your blocks with you. Heel toe your foot to the left side of your mat. Let's find a lizard pose. So if you need a break off of that back knee, you can pick up that back leg, rock forward and back or side to side. That middle edge of your foot is off the ground. You also don't need to use blocks here if you'd like your elbows here on the earth. If you would like a little more activation in that right thigh, left palm can come to the knee. Find a gentle twist. Wherever you're at, let's take 1 to 2 more breaths here. And then palms find the earth here, kind of in line with that foot. Put the foot back down, pick up the back knee, and sweep that leg back to your 3-legged dog. Go ahead, sweep it back forward. Let's find our warrior 1 here. Spiral down the back heel. Good. Next, inhale, lengthen that leg. Exhale to warrior 2. So step that heel forward. Adjust your feet so that front heel is aligned with that back arch. Warrior 2. Good. Go ahead and lengthen that leg now. Pivot the toes to the side of your mat. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Find your prasarita. Rock your hips side to side. Good. Go ahead and inhale, halfway lift. And then we're going to bring our hands off of our mat here. Hands come to hips or heart center. Toes can sort of jut out a bit here. And then let's find our side lunge. So hold this pose here and just bring awareness to where your hips are in line here, okay? And then as you exhale, I want you to draw a horizontal line over to the opposite side. Good. Keep drawing this line from side to side, going back and forth. If your hips are lower than your knees here, you will make a little arch. That's okay. For those higher than our knees, we're just making that straight line. All right, let's take 1 to 2 more here on each side. And then to rest, you can either stand or find that forward fold again. Let's inhale to a halfway lift. So I want your hands touching the earth. If they're not touching, then bring blocks underneath them or heel toe your feet wide. Let's find a middle split here. And then your elbows can also come to the earth here. What we're going to do is just gently hug in the inner thighs. Just very gently, just test it out. If that feels nice, stay here. Even walk your feet wider. If that feels kind of tender and like it's pinching, heel toe your feet together. Good. Once you found your spot, inhale to prepare. Exhale, hug in the inner thighs. Keep hugging them for the next 20 seconds here. Just hug, hug, hug. Like you're trying to press those inner thighs together. Maybe even lift the tailbone a little higher and back. Keep hugging them in. Keep relaxing that head. One last inhale. Exhale, release down to a farther split here and just relax the inner thighs. We're here for another 20 seconds or so. Nice job. Go ahead and inhale. If your hands aren't already on the earth or blocks, bring them there. Heel toe 1 or 2 legs back to prasarita. And then let's walk our hands to the front of our mat. step back into plank. Let's find that chaturanga to upward facing dog here. And then let's move to the other side. So sweep the right heel up to the sky, open up that hip, lift the knee, pull the heel back. Find those knee circles. 1 to 3 here. Once you find that stillness, let's exhale, bring that right knee to right tricep. Good, 3 times, you know the drill here now. Use your breath to move you. Re-square that hip, bring that right foot forward. Let's find that low lunge. You can uncurl the toes here for a moment. Inhale to rise, hands find heart center. Activate that thigh, and then inhale, drop the hips forward and back. Beautiful. So a new side may look the exact same or completely different. Bring awareness back to that purpose, send some positive thoughts to the brain. Let's land in that deepest lunge position. Inhale to lift the fingertips if they're not already lifted. Palms come together. Exhale, drop the thumbs. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale here. Inhale here one more time. Exhale, throw the hands forward, lengthen that leg. Square the hips. Maybe this side you don't need blocks or you grab them. Or maybe this side you just stay with a flat back rather than folding over. Lots of options here. This is why I often say it's your yoga practice. Keep squaring that hip to the right and down. Let's do some waves here with our foot, rocking our heel, finding a little bit more of a stretch on the different sides of that hamstring. And then you can take one hand on the sole of your foot, gently pull it back. We have about 3 more rounds of breath here. Good. Let's release. Walk your hands on the left side of that foot. Heel toe it to the side. Find that lizard pose. You can take a break off that back knee. Elbows can find the earth. Hopefully you guys can hear that beautiful rain here that's coming down. You can add in that gentle spinal twist if that feels nice. Good. Bring your hands back down, curl the toes under. And you're either sweeping that leg back. If you can't sweep from there, you're sliding the foot and then reaching back to 3-legged dog. Set the foot down. Let's bring it up to standing. Bring that leg to 3-legged dog, sweep it forward. Let's find that warrior 1 here on this side. And then inhale, lengthen that leg. Shift to your warrior 2. So now you can kind of see it on this back side. Gaze is either to your middle finger or just gently to the left here. Good, let's lengthen that front leg, pivot the toes to the other edge of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Just face you guys here. And then inhale, halfway lift. Let's find those side lunges here now using our hands. So that heel can pop up here. And then as you walk to the other side, that's where you'll kind of find that little arc from side to side. Just continuing to open up those hips. And you don't have to use the earth. You can stand a little taller here, making that same rainbow arc. Very nice job. All right, go ahead and find center when you're ready. Let's heel toe our feet to just a wide stance. Let's find our Hanumanasana squat real quick. We're just making our way to the earth. So if it works for those knees, you can set the glutes down. If not, you can stand up and then find a tabletop and sweep your legs around. Let's find our first split poses. Make sure you find what's comfortable here. So sit bones on the mat or heels on the mat, or preferably both. If not, you can put a blanket or a cloth underneath. Let's inhale, lengthen the spine, and slide just one hand to one foot here. Inhale to lengthen that top arm up and over, squaring the shoulders, letting them stack. And then for those who can reach their big toe, you'll close your shoulder here and then just reopen it here. Let your head rest on that bicep. And then exhale, come back through the middle. Let's move to the other side. Slide that hand over to the opposite foot. Reach that top arm up and over. If you need to reach for that big toe, you can close your shoulders here for a moment, catch on, and then open up the shoulders. Gently pull. Good, and release. Nice job. Let's go through the middle here. So if you feel a little bit more warmed up, let's scoot the hips forward. If you need a block for assistance or you would like it underneath your chest, grab one or two blocks. Hinge at your waist. And you may just stay here, so you can set your elbows down here with that flat back. Or you can round the shoulders, walk your hands forward. And to sort of get that feeling of your chest on the floor, you can bring that block to any height, so you can find a nice, passive splits pose. If your hamstrings are really tender here, then point the toes for a little less activation. And we'll stay here for about 30 seconds. You're already about halfway through. Even though we're static in this pose, our breath is giving us tiny movements. As we inhale, our crown of the head is reaching forward. Exhaling, finding a little bit more space between the belly and the hips. Exhale to release. Walk your hands back to an upright position. Bring that block just back to the front of your mat. Gently lean back. Hug in the legs. Shake out the knees. And then come into your tabletop pose. Let's just find a quick child's pose to just hug the knees into the chest. Let yourself know that you did a great job doing those middle splits. Very nice job. Let's come up to standing now. Just take a little break from the floor. Let's find our downward facing dog. Walk our feet to our hands. Find a forward fold. And then gently roll up to standing. Take your time coming here. Let's go back into those hip openers here. So hands can find wherever is comfortable here. Let's bring our weight to one side. We're going to inhale, bring that knee nice and high without our hands. Open your hip just as wide as you're able to. Once you've reached that stopping point, I want you to rotate that knee down. Shoot the heel back. Lengthen the leg and then reach for the other side here behind your leg. So that can be totally to the left or totally behind. And then bend the knee, reach forward, lengthen. Now reach to the same side, this time in front of your leg. Nice job. Just making a nice circle here. Just like in that down dog when we do those hip circles. It's kind of the same thing with a wider range of motion. Good, let's do one more here. As your feet lands behind you, let's keep that knee bent when we bring it back forward. Place that ankle just above the knee. Exhale to your figure 4 pose. Try to square those hips and then sink down. Lift the chest. Hands can stay where they're at, or you can even rest them on your shin. Last inhale in. Exhale, sink low. Continue that exhale to release. Good. Roll out the ankle here. Let's switch to the other side. So hands can find, this time maybe your hips, if you want to switch it up. Hike in that knee. So your knee may look a little different from the other side. It may be lower than your hip or above your hip or just in line. Open it as wide as you're able. And then rotate that knee down, kick the leg back. Lengthen it to the edge of your mat here. Rebend the knee, bring it forward and around. Just finding a little dancer leg here. Standing dancer pose. And this time your hips they're unstable here, they're moving. With that hand that's on the leg that's moving, you can even press your fingertips into your hip. Kind of just feel that joint moving. Good. Let's reach those toes back one more time. And then let's shoot that knee high, bend the knee. Place that foot just above the opposite knee. Exhale to find that figure 4 pose. Find that spot on the earth, help keep your balance. Weight is off of the toes. You could almost lift the toes off the ground. Last inhale to exhale. And release. Nice job. Let's make our way back to the earth here. Good. Let's roll the spine. Find our Uttanasana. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana. Plant the hands, find your plank. Let's find our flow. So you can of course add push-ups into your flow or take a long upward facing dog. Just make your way to downward facing dog. And let's inhale that left heel up to the sky, sweep it forward, low lunge. Drop to the back knee. This time let's keep our knee or our toes curled under. Inhale to lengthen, bring the hands to heart center. And then on your next inhale, let's find that deep half split here. Maybe you go a little further. And then I want you to hug in that back knee and that front heel. Almost find a little lift. And then exhale, lengthen both legs, come up to standing. Good. Inhale, drop back down. Hinge a little further. And then exhale, come back up to standing. Good. You can always stay on the ground like we did before. Or add this little movement. You can lengthen your arms up high, make it a little less stable, or even close your eyes. Beautiful. Let's find one more, come up to standing. Good. Find that high crescent lunge. We're going to go into warrior 3. So if you need to shorten your stance a little bit, shorten your stance. Exhale, sweep your swords forward and back. Shift that weight to that front leg. Lift the toes off the ground. Inhale to lift the pelvis off of that femur bone. Good. With that right hand, square the hip down. And then let's inhale to a Tadasana or one-legged Tadasana. So we're gonna go into splits up the wall. If you need blocks under your hands, grab blocks. Or if you need a break, take a break. If not, find that warrior 3. We're gonna inhale, lengthen the crown of the head closer to the front of your mat here. And then exhale, fold over. Find your splits up the wall. Inhale to lift the heel high, bend the knee. Use it as sort of a weight here to shift on that front leg. Let the head hang heavy. If it feels nice, stay here. If you want to add a little more, inhale to reach the left hand to the top of the right foot. Gently press the top of the foot into the right hand, lift the knee a little higher. If it feels good, stay here. Or you can slide the right hand closer to the big toe, or even catch onto the ankle. Inhale to lift a little higher. Good, take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And exhale to release. Step that left foot back, just 2 or 3 leg lengths back here. Find a pyramid pose. Fold over, send the hips back. I want your arms really hanging down here like in a rag doll. So if you find you always have to press into the earth, just rest your hands on your lower back here. Maybe close your eyes. Good. Replant the hands, step your feet back to a downward facing dog. Maybe take a few petals out. And then let's inhale, reach the right heel up to the sky. Sweep it forward, drop to the back knee. Keep the toes curled under. Inhale to rise. Hands find heart center. Good, moving on to the other side. Whoops. Let's inhale, shift forward. Exhale, come back to standing. So you can stay there or you can reach forward. Hug in the back knee and front heel. Find that little lift. Exhale to lengthen the legs. And inhale, drop down, hinge forward. Don't forget about that hinge forward. If you feel super wobbly, you can shorten that stance here. Don't shorten it too much. Or you can just stay on the earth here. Remember that each side is a little different. As you can kind of see if you're watching me, this is definitely my less balanced side. Good, remember to add in closed eyes or reaching the hands up high. A tip for keeping those hips square is having your hands on your hips and just feeling if those hips rock side to side. We want them nice and level here, so keeping those hands on those hips is helpful. Good, let's find 1 to 2 more. Find a high crescent lunge, readjust if needed. Let's inhale to reach our swords up high. Exhale to our warrior 3. Inhale to lift that pelvis off of the femur bone. Square down the hip. You can go into that splits up the wall or take a one-legged Tadasana. You can reset up your blocks wherever you're at. Refine the warrior 3. And then find splits up the wall. Let the head hang heavy. Inhale, lengthen that leg up an imaginary wall. Bend the knee. Use that knee, lift it nice and high to lift more forward. If it feels nice, stay here. If you want to reach that right hand back to your left foot, catch hold. Press that top of the foot into the hand. Stay here if it feels good, or you can slide the hands closer to the foot, catch onto the ankle. Here's where you can actively pull that shin bone off of the ankle bones. Find a little lift from the earth. Next, exhale. Release the hands, release the left next to the right. Step the right toes back. Find your pyramid pose. Square the hips. Release the shoulders. Find that ragdoll pose over the left leg now. If hands on your back is a little too imbalanced, hands can also rest on blocks. Good. Go ahead and plant your hands, step your feet back, find that downward facing dog. And then let's replant the knees. Let's just take a hero pose here. Just take a breath or two here. And then we're going to lift the hips here off of the heels. Bring your knees hip width distance apart. We're going to find some quad sit-ups here. So hands can be at heart center or your hips. Roll the shoulders back and down. Toes can stay curled under if you sort of feel more stable here. I'm going to keep mine uncurled. Let's inhale, lean back here with a straight back. Exhale, use your quads to sit you back up. So we're not coming in a back bend, we're not leaning forward, just a nice straight back. So our quads do the work. You should be feeling it, keep it up here. You should be feeling it from the top of your knee to all the way to your core. If you feel it in that tendon just above your knee, you're going too far, just take it a notch back. Good, let's do 2 more here at my pace here. Let's inhale and hold this pose back. Exhale, hold. Inhale, keep breathing as we're holding. Exhale, press back up to your upright position. One more time, inhale, shift back and hold. We're holding, but we're still breathing. Last inhale. Exhale, press back. Good. Find your child's pose. Hug the knees into the chest. Let the arms and head hang heavy. And then let's finally find our split poses. So you can start with whichever leg you like. I tend to always start with my left. If you have blocks, set them underneath your shoulders here. And then just scooch the toes forward here. The front toes can lift up. And then to scooch the back knee, you can curl the toes down, lift and lengthen that back leg. That back hip wants to open and lean back. I want you to square it and then find more space. Okay. So if you're pretty high off the ground like me, you can set a block here underneath that hamstring to sort of get that feeling of having the earth closer to you. And then that second block can just be shoved underneath your calf to prevent that hyper extension here. So now my hands can be free here. If you are already on the floor, you can reach your hands up high, lengthen them here, still hugging in the legs to lift. Square the hips. Exhale. You can fold over that front leg, drop the head to the knee. Breathe here. Alright, so we've been here for a good while here, so you can lower that block down. So I'm not exactly touching that block anymore. I'm going to remove this. But it is nice to have that. The earth is still touching me, but I'm not resting down. It's still nice to kind of have that support, so you don't feel like you're floating in total space. And those blocks can be at any height here. So if I'm higher up, I'm at that third height here. Keep in your splits. If you are more in a half split position and your front leg is straight, I want you to bend it and then straighten that back leg a little more. And then crawl the toes a little forward here. So always when we do a split, that front leg doesn't have to be totally straight. You can lengthen that back leg a little more. All right, wherever you're at, let's take about 3 more rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale. Maybe relax the jaw and the eyes here. If you're more in that half split pose, you can slide out of it just the way you came. If you're a little lower, you can just bend that back knee, sweep it forward. Wherever you're at, let's just find ourselves on our glutes here. Let's find a little release with that back leg. So whichever leg was your back leg, mine was my right. I'm gonna just find a lotus pose. So bring that right foot on the opposite knee or the opposite inner thigh. Shins are sort of parallel here. As you inhale, your knees drop to the earth. Those toes can be unflexed here for a little relaxation. If it feels nice, stay here. You can even fold over, round the shoulders. Reflect on that split side here before we head to the other side. Beautiful. Come to an upright position. So new side means new pose, even though it's still the splits. When we are switching sides, really think of it as a new yoga pose here. It can look totally different or kind of similar. Let's set up our blocks. Sweep the opposite leg forward. You could find your half split pose or scooch the legs forward and back. Maybe this side is a little higher, so you find that really tall height here. Sometimes it's two, just to find that tall height, just for a little warm up. Take a few breaths, and then move down block sizes. So even though this is kind of a static pose, you'll notice I'm moving a lot in this pose. That's to protect my legs. So if I ever feel any tingling, or if it feels like just one part of my hamstring is being pulled, then I'm going too far. Then I take a step back. If it feels good, you can take it a step further. So it should be slightly uncomfortable, right? It is the splits pose, but it should never be painful. If your glutes are resting on the earth or the block here, you can inhale to reach the hands up high, and then exhale to fold over. That back hip, just a reminder, wants to lean back, keep squaring it, and then finding more space. If you are in that half split position and your front leg is straight, you can bend it here, lengthen that back leg a little bit more, or vice versa. We're here for about 15 or so seconds. Beautiful job, guys. Alright, just like last time, you can either sweep that back leg around and forward, or you can come out of it the way you came. Let's move our blocks here. We'll be done with them today. Set them aside. Find a seated position. Bring that back leg, so this time it was my left, on my opposite leg here, kind of at the inner thigh. Relax the toes, shins are parallel to each other. Inhale to lengthen the spine, maybe close your eyes. You can stay here, or you can hinge forward. Find a forward fold. Relax on down. That was your last hard pose for the day. Beautiful. Go ahead and rise here. Let's just shake out the legs here, so shake out the knees. We're just going to head into our Savasana now. So if you have to leave here, you can go ahead and like this video, ask any questions. subscribe. If you're joining us for Savasana today, go ahead and rest your spine on the earth here. Remember, just like any pose that we prep for, you can take another pose before you head here. You can take a spinal twist. If you're already ready, go ahead and lengthen out the toes to the front of your mat. Bring your arms in, palms face the sky. Lift and lower the shoulders away from the ears. And let the legs fall heavy here. So this is our traditional Savasana pose, our corpse pose. If you need a modification, take a modification. So if your inner thighs have been worked a lot, you can bend your knees, let your knees rest into each other. Your arms can be out in a T position. Take one more inhale to exhale here. And we'll just be in this pose for a minute. You're more than welcome to pause the video and stay here for a couple more minutes. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. I leave you here in Savasana. Bring your thoughts back to the mat. Readjust your pose or your breath, or maybe open and close the eyes. Just start to wake up from this corpse pose. If you'd like to stay on your back, stay here. If you're headed into fetal pose, hug your knees into your chest. Rock your knees side to side. And let them fall to whichever side here, stacking all the joints. Wherever you're at, let your breath move you. Inhale. Your body rises a little bit. Exhale, sink into the earth. Take a few more draining breaths there, and then come up into an easy or hero pose. Hands find heart center. And then bowing your head, bowing forward as respect to your yoga practice today. Thank you for being here with me. Namaste.